Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. The Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Trade says the Cabinet is actively considering a proposal to extend the age limit for imported foreign use vehicles from 3 years to 8 years. That's a significant increase, people. And it's a positive thing. That is really good. Speaking with Guardian Media yesterday, Dr. Colin Neil Gosine said the Cabinet note is not yet finalized, but discussions have been ongoing. He said there are still key elements that must be reviewed, including input from stakeholders like the Trinidad and Tobago Automotive Dealers Association, particularly on matters such as electric and hybrid vehicles. Gosine added that once finalized, the move should bring relief to families and individuals who want to own a reliable car but are currently priced out of the market. For the past 10 years, a lot of individuals that are from the working and the middle class were unable to afford foreign use vehicles. But now that is going to change. And this is all part, another perfect example of when UNC wins, everybody wins. The economy is going to be revived, is going to be resuscitated, stimulated within the next year or so. And also, for convenience sake, a lot of individuals are going to be able, as I said before, to have their own personal form of transformation, because 8-year-old vehicles, the older vehicles will be more at a more affordable price. And don't forget, people, don't forget that the other policies that have already been implemented when it pertains to the oil and gas industry. And hopefully Petrotrin will be reopened in the next year or so, which I still continue to believe is the backbone of our economy. And therefore, what it's going to do is enrich the middle class. And when you have an enriched middle class, they have the purchasing power to ensure that the revenue within the country is transferred from the upper class, the wealthy class, and it is transferred to the working class. That is common sense, people. And that is something that always occurs when the UNC is in office. No more overheating phones. Cool your phones in seconds. Prevents damage to phones and battery issues. Better gaming experience and streaming. USB powered and fast charging. Lightweight and quiet. Ideal for kids and adults. Works with all smartphones. Makes a great gift. Enjoy free island-wide delivery. Call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ernesto Kesa says he hopes to see a 100% increase in oil and gas sector jobs by next year. And he is urging energy companies to partner with trade schools to produce certified professionals. Just like what I was now saying there. They are focused on diversification of our economy, yes, but they're also understanding, acknowledging the fact that the oil and gas industry is still a backbone of our economy. I will say it again. When you give the middle class purchasing power, that's when you see a country prospering. Because the working class citizens, they end up with more increased employment, because the middle class will open businesses, and also the middle class will purchase items from the working class parlors in the communities and also their small businesses throughout the entire country. This is how the working class ends up benefiting. That's how we win as well. But getting back to what I was saying there, the partnership seeks to develop a specialist training program to build manpower for the drilling industry through on-the-job training. Drilling. I wonder if we will end up with our own personal drilling company anytime in the future. Of course, I am looking forward most of all to the rapture, but from a worldly perspective, I hope one day Trinidad and Tobago will end up having our own oil drilling companies. Highlighting the sector's role in employment, Kessa said the energy industry continued to provide a viable pathway to opportunities for young people. He noted that the first quarter of 2025 showed an average of 12,800 people employed in oil and gas, accounting for 2.3% of the national labor force. So, of course, and he said he's hoping that there will be a 100% increase. So that means by next year, God's willing, should have about 25,000 individuals working in that field in the oil industry. Wonderful. Minister of Sport and Youth Affairs Philip Watts says the Java cricket program has delivered on its pilot promise to take cricket development down into the grassroots, with special focus on rural and less advantaged young people. Video for this particular report was provided by TTT.
The Java cricket program wrapped in Siparia last week, and today dozens of youngsters got a close-up look at professional cricket with their attendance at the Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League clash between the Trinbago Knight Riders and the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, part of the ministry's push to inspire the next generation. Minister Watts says a meeting with Caribbean Premier League officials helped turn inspiration into seats in the stands.
And what we did today, I met with the CEO of CPL, and when we met, I brought up this idea that, it's a good thing to bring the kids to the cricket today. So I asked him for about 100 and something tickets to motivate the kids, right? So they are here with us today.
Launched as a pilot program during the July-August vacation, Java targets the grassroots, starting at the primary schools level and reaching children who may not be able to afford club fees.
One of our mandate that we have in the ministry, we tell ourselves, look, we want to actually start to go down into the grassroots to develop sport. If we want to develop sport and develop athletes, we need to get down into the grassroots, into the primary school. We need to bring this level of training to the less fortunate kids. For example, like in Toko, Talparo, some of the rural areas, we have a lot of kids who parents cannot afford to send them to a club. So we are making this cricket training available to youths like that.
The minister said Java will continue to expand across schools and rural communities, with pathways from primary to secondary and eventually to West Indies representation. Nasira Mohammed, TTT Sport.
You won't be disappointed with this one. Look and feel great every day. Painless trimming with no pulling of hair guaranteed. Comfortable to hold and lightweight. Intelligent anti-pinch system. Safety travel lock. Accurate and painless trimming. Durability 100% quality. Fast charging. To place an order, call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. The United States congratulated Trinidad and Tobago on the celebration of its 63rd anniversary of independence. In a statement, the United States noted the partnership shared with TNT in advancing stability and prosperity across the hemisphere. And rest assured that that relationship between Trinidad and Tobago is going to continue to grow as long as the Kamala Prasad administration remains in office, and of course, the UNC by extension. In a show of patriotism, residents of Palmist were using the Independence Day holiday yesterday to clean Palmist Park, which has become overgrown since the suspension of CPEP, URP, and reforestation programs. As I've said multiple times, especially on my other platform, I believe it's time to do away with those particular programs, and what should be implemented, they should give those same individuals who are working under those different programs permanent employment in the Ministry of Works. Because definitely maintenance of our roadways, of our rivers, of our drains is an essential job, people. And it should not be something that is temporary. Give individuals a proper salary, a proper working hours, right? 40-hour week or whatever, however you want to have it. And therefore, they could be able to benefit with a proper pension plan. And because they will have permanent jobs, they will be able to apply for loans. People, that is what we should be focusing on. Speaking to Guardian Media but still, I'm just reading this because it was still something positive that the residents of that area decided to do. Speaking to Guardian Media before the planned cleanup, president of the Palmis Residents Action Group, Harry Ragunanan, said 10 volunteers have already stepped forward with brush cutters and a tractor. The group has also pooled funds from their neighbors to clear the park for themselves. Acting Prisons Commissioner Hayden Ford says that art has become a beacon of light for the prison service, offering hope in what he described as a dark period for the institution. He was speaking at the 12th installment of the Prison Art Exhibition at Long Circular Mall last Tuesday, when inmates displayed their work for the public. This may sound strange coming from me, but I hope more of these type of ideas are implemented. Yes, people, everyone deserves a second chance if they choose to do so, and if they show signs of desiring to follow the right path in life. And I also will hope that the day will come here in Trinidad and Tobago that the conditions in the prisons itself will improve, just like how in America, justice is still served in America and in a lot of other first world countries. But the environment, the place itself, the prison itself is in a much better condition. And I hope that is what we will plan to implement or do here in Trinidad as well. Tobago Knight Riders edged St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots by 12 runs into Aruba, a result that lifts TKR into first place on 12 points. The win also ensured TKR as the first team to qualify for the playoff round of the 2025 Republic Bank Caribbean Premier League. That is wonderful news as a Trinidadian. I am proud to hear that. I'm proud to hear that. But what I hope is that this sort of winning streak will end up existing in the West Indies cricket team as well. And also that with the longer versions, the actual genuine versions of the cricket game, this type of performance will exist there as well. Because I continue to say it over and over again, T20 cricket is just a partial version of what cricket really is. Cricket is a game of endurance and skill. You must have endurance even in the one-day international 50 overs. That is something about not just making sixes and fours. It's all about making the other one run here, the two run there. That is what cricket is all about. So people, as much as it's nice to hear this news about Trinidad or the Tobago Knight Riders winning or being at the top of the competition, what I really want to hear in the future is that West Indies cricket in general begins to perform at the world standard, at the standards that the team used to have back in the 80s and the 70s, before I was even born, because I was born in the 80s. And as I keep telling people a lot of the times, I witnessed the final years of greatness in West Indies cricket. That was the times with Brian Lara and Courtney Walsh and Curtly Ambrose, Jimmy Adams, these kinds of athletes, these types of players, these cricketers. And hopefully at some point in time, we will restore that level of greatness in the sport here in the West Indies. We can tell a little more about cricket and T20 cricket. Kieron Pollard, he is a powerful man, and he could really hit some huge sixes. Made it rain sixes in Aruba as he cleared the ropes 7 times in 8 deliveries towards the end of the Knight Riders' innings, including 4 in a row off the bowling of Waka Salam Keel. congratulations, of course, and I'm very proud of that. It's wonderful to see my my fellow Trinis performing well in cricket. I've loved cricket since I was a child. But once again, as I said before, I just hope that that sort of winning streak and that sort of performance can end up existing in the West Indies cricket team as well. And I'm not talking about T20 cricket. I'm talking about the one-day international and the test cricket versions of the game. Some news from Jamaica. Outgoing British Prime Minister, outgoing British High Commissioner Judith Slater says bilateral trade between the UK and Jamaica has grown by 40% over the past 4 years, driven by British investment and Jamaican companies breaking into the UK market. Of course, that is wonderful news for Jamaica, and I continue to hope and pray that that prosperity increases exponentially, just as it is in Guyana. I'm just hoping and praying that Jamaicans probably decide to give, I believe it's Mark Golding, the opposition, opportunity. Give him an opportunity to govern the nation, and let us see if there's going to be any increase in progress and prosperity. Norman Manley International Airport has successfully renewed its customer experience accreditation from Airport Council International, a testament to the airport's ongoing transformation and unwavering commitment to building for Jamaica's future. Because remember, of course, tourism is really an important part of the economy in Jamaica, and hopefully it will be in Tobago and Trinidad as well again. This distinction reaffirms the airport's commitment to placing the passenger at the center of its strategy and every operational decision. Wonderful. Jamaica made a smashing international debut at the 4th Bahamas. Listen to this Chinese Dragon Boat Festival. That sounds interesting. Honestly speaking, I would love to go oh God, but Bahamas, but definitely want to visit Bahamas. Claiming bronze in yesterday's 200-meter mixed major final at Goodman's Bay in Nassau. Jamaica, who only started training for the international event in June, also advanced to the 200-meter major open as Division A finalists alongside returning champions, boys and girls and runners up Nortu crew. That reminds me of the bobsledding team, the movie. Congratulations to them, of course, and it shows that once you put your mind and you have the dedication and the perseverance, you can achieve your goals. Even if you're now starting a new sport, that is wonderful. That's excellent news. Former Jamaican Prime Minister Bruce Golding on Monday said he was highly impressed with Guyana's electoral process. I am too, and his estimated 757,690 listed eligible voters cast ballots at 2,790 polling stations across the vast CARICOM country. Large country. Golding, who is heading the Elections Observer Commission of the Organization of American States, told reporters that he was personally impressed with the level of professionalism exhibited by the election officials at the polling stations. Now, of course, in Trinidad and Tobago, we would have gotten our results since last night. But that's okay. What I am still hoping for is that by the ending of today, I will be able to find out that Irfan Ali was given a second term in office. And of course, tomorrow, God's willing, I will give you all the results, because I was waiting for it this morning, but it's nearly midday, and therefore it was important for me to start recording the video at this hour. So by tomorrow, God's willing, I'll be able to give you all an update about who won the elections. Of course, the entire Caribbean will know by then. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has disclosed that Portlanders could benefit from more than 1,300 housing solutions in 2027. Should the Jamaica Labour Party form the next government again? Third time in a row. Getting back to the news report. Holness, who was addressing supporters during a party meeting at the National Commercial Bank parking lot in Port Antonio on Saturday, spoke about the importance of making available proper and affordable housing units for the people of the Northeastern Parish. You had 10 years to do so, though, sir. But this is a different platform. So I have to control what I really want to say. Let's just hope and pray and see what's going to be the results. I believe it's Wednesday. Let's see what Jamaicans will say and respond to this type of promise. 2027. It reminds me of a promise that was made by Dr. Rowley, Prime Minister, former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley, and his administration, who promised great prosperity here in Trinidad and Tobago by 2027. You will have it now under the UNC and the Kamala Prasad administration. From international news, President Trump says he will award former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The announcement comes after Giuliani was injured in a car crash over the weekend. I hope and pray that he recovers fully in Jesus' name. And definitely this man was a hero in his times when he was the mayor of New York. And in many ways that I cannot really discuss once again on this platform. But rest assured, he made New York into a much safer and prosperous, New York City into a much safer and prosperous city. Moving on. Is there a better month to feel a surge of travel spirit than September? As the summer holiday crush eases, Europe gets back to business, and harvest time brings a bevy of continent's stellar produce to restaurant tables, from young wines to olives, Greek figs, British apples, Spanish almonds, and so much more. And I don't think the fig that they're talking about is the fig that bananas, the small bananas that we talk about fig here in Trinidad. They're talking about the real fruit, fig. The change of season signals new beginnings and new adventures. Perhaps a trip where you can try something to improve your skills or your hobby, or just indulge some creative curiosity. The curiosity part would be for me, just the adventure. From mindful courses to cookery classes, more purposeful travel can resume once the summer beach season is over. Further afield, there are some stellar wildlife spectacles. Now you're talking wildlife to see. From the big game that gather around dry season watering holes in Africa to turtle spotting in Costa Rica, or watching humpback whales, blue whales, and pods of orcas patrolling for sea lions along California's coast. No more overheating phones. Cool your phones in seconds. Prevents damage to phones and battery issues. Better gaming experience and streaming. USB powered and fast charging. Lightweight and quiet. Ideal for kids and adults. Works with all smartphones. Makes a great gift. Enjoy free island-wide delivery. Call or WhatsApp 868-762-6589. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news headlines. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe in Jesus' name.